Germany gets less sunlight than Alaska, yet they have more solar per capita than sunny Arizona. That sounds completely backwards, right? But here's what's actually happening. Solar panels don't run on heat. They run on light. And that difference changes everything about where solar actually works best. So let's break down why cold, cloudy Germany is a solar powerhouse while hot, sunny places underperform and what this means if you're considering solar for your home. Here's the thing most people get wrong. They think solar panels need intense heat to work. Blazing desert, sun 100-degree rooftops, that sort of thing. But solar panels actually hate heat. The hotter they get, the less efficient they become. Here's why. Solar panels work through something called the photovoltaic effect. When photons from sunlight hit the silicon in a panel, they knock electrons loose. Those electrons flow in one direction, creating electricity. Heat doesn't help this process. In fact, it makes it harder. When silicon gets hot, the atoms vibrate more. That vibration disrupts the flow of electrons. The panel generates less power. Most solar panels are rated at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That's their optimal temperature. For every degree above that, they lose about 0.5% of efficiency. So a panel on a Phoenix rooftop in July, sitting at 150 degrees, it's losing around 35% of its rated output just from heat. A third of its power, gone, because it's too hot. Meanwhile, a panel in Germany at 50 degrees on a cloudy winter day, it's working near peak efficiency. The light is diffused, but it's still carrying photons. And because the panel is cool, those photons are converted into electricity more effectively. This is the paradox nobody explains. More sun doesn't always mean more power. Now let's talk about Germany specifically. They installed over 60 gigawatts of solar capacity. For a country that gets less annual sunlight than most of the northern United States, that's massive. Arizona, by comparison, has barely 15 gigawatts. Same with Nevada. These are states with 300-plus days of sunshine per year, and they're getting crushed by cloudy Germany. So what's going on? Policy. Germany subsidized solar hard in the early 2000s with something called feed-in tariffs. Homeowners who installed solar got paid premium rates for every kilowatt hour they fed back into the grid. It was guaranteed for 20 years. That policy made solar a no-brainer investment, even in a country with mediocre sunlight. People installed panels because the financial return was locked in. The United States has incentives too. Tax credits, net metering, but they're inconsistent. Some states offer great terms. Others offer almost nothing. And policies change, which creates uncertainty. But here's the part that matters for you. The Germany example proves that climate isn't the main factor in whether solar makes sense. Cold weather is actually an advantage. Panels work better. Snow on the ground reflects additional light onto the panels, boosting output. And modern panels are designed to handle snow load without damage. What actually determines whether solar pays off is your electricity rates, your net metering policy, and how much sun exposure your specific roof gets hour by hour. If you live in a cold state and someone told you solar won't work, they're wrong. Montana, Minnesota, Vermont, all viable for solar. The key is avoiding shade and getting a proper installation. Conversely, if you live in Arizona or Nevada, don't assume solar is automatic. If your roof faces north, or you have heavy shading, or your utility offers terrible net metering, the math might not work despite all that sunshine. Here's the other thing about heat. It shortens panel lifespan. Constant thermal cycling, heating up during the day, cooling at night, stresses the materials. Panels in cooler climates tend to last longer and maintain efficiency better over 25 years. So when installers talk about panel degradation, remember that desert panels degrade faster than northern panels. That affects your long-term return on investment. Let me give you the bottom line. Solar works in cold climates. It works in cloudy climates. Germany proved that a decade ago. What doesn't work is bad policy, bad installation, or bad assumptions about what solar actually needs. If you're researching solar, forget about climate. Focus on these three things. 1. Your electricity rates. High rates mean faster payback. 2. Your net metering terms. If your utility pays you pennies for excess power, solar economics fall apart. 3. Your roof's actual sun exposure. Not the general weather in your state. Your specific roof, hour by hour, with shading analysis. Get those three things right, and solar works whether you're in Alaska or Arizona. Next video, I'm comparing the top home battery systems. Tesla Powerwall versus the competition, because if you're going solar, You need to know if adding a battery makes sense. And spoiler, it usually doesn't, but there are exceptions. Hit subscribe. See you next video.